With the Chancellor's budget, we're starting to see some effort to answer the question that I have been repeatedly putting to everybody, really, and I put it to people on this little YouTube channel. Can you tell me the benefits of Brexit? Well, after 7 years, the Chancellor of the Exchequer seems to think the benefit of Brexit is being able to impose his own taxes on real ale, a differential taxing for draft beer, cheaper beer in pubs. Is that the only benefit that anybody can actually give to me for Brexit? But I am pleased that out of the 3 that I've been asking for, I've been asking repeatedly for give me 3 benefits. We've now got 1. Cheaper beer in pubs. Now, of course, Mr. Hunt is somebody who didn't vote for Brexit. He voted to remain. But he would concede that we now need to recognise, as I would, we now need to recognise the reality and make a success as an independent country. We need to make Brexit work. We're not helped by the fact that Brexit was negotiated by a number of unbelievably aggressive twits, and that we got off to a really bad start, messing up the framework for Northern Ireland, messing up the framework for controlling the Channel, and not putting in place any sort of parallel organisation like Dublin 3, and also, for that matter, losing access to the European register of those people who had attempted to apply for asylum in mainland Europe. So we don't know, when people come across the Channel, whether they have been rejected from asylum in mainland Europe or whether they have never attempted to gain asylum in mainland Europe. We don't have that information because we gave that away with the very foolish Brexit agreement negotiated by people like Frost and then Boris and accepted by Boris. It was a bad agreement. Whether one voted for or against Brexit in 2016, we cannot ignore the fact that the Brexit agreement, get Brexit done, was the stuff of madness. Now, we have over 1 million vacancies in businesses across our country. The OBR says that productivity is now 4% lower in Britain than it was at the time of Brexit, at the time of the Brexit referendum. Trading has reduced by 15%. People who voted for Brexit could be said to have voted to make themselves poorer. That was the point raised in Newsnight. It seems to be perfectly sound. We voted in 2016 to become poorer. It is an extraordinary achievement. Mr. Hunt would say that's not true. Mr. Hunt would say that he put in principle, he's trying to put in practice, but he's only managed it with beer. He's put in principle a framework for the next 20 years that will give Britain vitality as a sort of satellite of Europe. Britain will become Europe's Silicon Valley, he thinks. And it's about making a success of Brexit. And, of course, as we know, so far we've made a mess of Brexit. But in 20 years' time, we will make a success of it. So it's going to take 20 years before I suspect we see another 2 benefits of Brexit beyond real ale. Mr. Hunt says that benefit will be seen particularly in the entertainment sector, which, of course, is run by a number of other twits, most notably people like Nadine Dorries, who ran the Department of Digital Culture, Media and Sport, now Culture, Media and Sport, now run by Lucy Fraser, and the digital bit hived off and now run by Michelle Donnellan. None of them seem to answer letters. When they can't answer letters, they pass it on to Julia Lopez, who can't answer straightforward questions in the House of Commons. This is a ministry which is supposed to be at the forefront of Mr. Hunt's plan for a successful Brexit in 20 years' time. This is a ministry which can't actually structure a sentence, and yet that is precisely what this ministry is supposed to be doing well. It's supposed to be doing communication well. It can't get through answering a single question. And silence, the mute button, is not what we voted for. Even if we voted for Brexit, even if we voted against Brexit, we didn't vote for a mute button. By the one bit of this government which is supposed to be successful, digital media, culture and sport. I've been saying for a long time this is a ministry that should be broken up. I don't think Silicon Valley is all about sport. So digital media and culture should be the thing that should be targeted in Hunt's budget, and yet it's run by inane individuals who can't answer questions. We saw it the other day with Julia Lopez in the House of Parliament, trying inanely to duck any questions about Fiona Bruce. I see it regularly when I write to the Secretary of State for Digital Media, Culture and Sport, and I don't get a reply. I eventually get a reply from Julia Lopez telling me to talk to Ofcom that repeatedly tells me it has nothing to say and cannot say anything, and my questions, the issues I'm raising, are beyond its remit, again and again. And I'm not the only person who is raising these issues. There comes a point where you just have to scream that this is nonsensical. There are no benefits. If we want benefits, we have to reform the one bit of our government that isn't working. Absolutely. It needs to be led by somebody who understands what they're doing, and somebody who can articulate things, and somebody who can actually do the work, master the brief, and write the letters, and answer the questions in the House of Commons.